Welcome to the Menopause Stories podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tamara Beckford, founder and medical director of Truly Balanced Wellness Care. This is the space where we stop the guesswork and start the optimization. We're pulling back the curtain on that midlife hijack and giving high achieving women the clinical roadmaps and unfiltered stories they need to reclaim their edge. Let's get into today's story. Hello again. It's Dr. Tamara Beckford with the Menopause Stories podcast. I have here a wonderful friend. And like I told you guys, I'm digging out all my friends and like bringing them on because they're such wonderful women that it's so important for you to hear their stories. Today we have the amazing Tiara Abu. I'm going to have her introduce herself. She's going to tell you what she does, and then eventually we're going to dive into her story. Go ahead, Tiara.
So I'm Tiara Abu. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited because your energy is always always up there. I'm Tiara Abu. I get to spend all of my days helping women entrepreneurs build their businesses. I get to do that directly with women through our programs at She Can Work. I also get to do that by designing entrepreneur programs for universities and other organizations who want to support women entrepreneurs. That's my obsession right now. I'm a former educator. So I've just brought all of my educational experience into what I'm doing now. And we're rocking and rolling. I'm also a mom of two boys, one that's about to graduate and one that is headed to high school. So pray for me at the time of this recording.
Up, blessings come down.
Yes, please. And I'm also a wife and sister and a friend. And I'm spend so much of my
And a
time
daughter.
I'm pouring into people who are also pouring into me. And that's me.
Yes, absolutely. So, with all of these things going on, like you got titles upon titles, and I've known you for a while, and Tiara is on the go. Okay, so when did Tiara start to realize, like, whoa, something is shifting? Because I am used to being able to be on the go, but all of a sudden, something is hijacking, my energy, my spirit. Like, whoa, when did that happen? And describe how you were feeling at the time.
I think it happened in probably 2021. I was standing in my living room or sitting in my living room and I was burning up hot and I was sweating. I still have the picture on my phone. I was profusely sweating, but everybody else in my house had on hoodies.
Ooh,
And my son walked down the stairs in a hoodie, and I was like, "Is everybody else cold?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's freezing in here," but I was dripping sweat and I was hot. So I kind of started to realize, okay, something is off with my body. I also have an autoimmunity, so I kind of blamed it on my autoimmunity, even though it was a new symptom. For me, I was like, eh. And then maybe a couple of weeks later, I was having a conversation with my youngest son, and I am a person who is very when I get upset, I go lower and talk slower. But with him that day, I was screaming to the top of my lungs. And I couldn't stop. I was screaming to the top of my lungs. I could not stop. And it was his facial expression.
you can still see it, right?
What is actually happening? And I could not control myself. I walked into my room and tried to calm myself down and I couldn't bring myself down. And then I was like, am I crazy? I am out of my mind. And I went to the doctor. To the doctor after that because it wasn't me slowing down necessarily. It was me exhibiting behaviors that I never had before. I was constantly getting hot. I was all of a sudden feeling so angry that I couldn't control myself. And I feel like I'm a master of controlling emotional consonants, but I wasn't. I was crazy. And then I also was feeling like I just was outside of myself and overwhelmed, which I don't get overwhelmed. I'm a very planned person. And even in chaos and crisis, that's my military and education background, that has always served me to be in crisis mode and to still be calm and paced and decided. But suddenly I was feeling overwhelmed all the time. And that was new for me. So I think those were kind of the warning signs for me that something was off. And when I went to the doctor, she said it so matter of factly. She's like, okay, you're in menopause. What? And it wasn't something I had talked about before with my mom really didn't ever feel like she went through perimenopause or menopause. She just
Mhm.
one day had a cycle, the next day did not have a cycle, no symptoms, no nothing.
Mhm.
So it wasn't a conversation that we needed to have from her perspective. And it wasn't something that was on my radar because I was at the time, like I was like 39. So I wasn't
Mhm.
thinking about menopause and I wasn't thinking about perimenopause. But I was thinking a lot about my body and I was thinking a lot about my mind because I was
Mhm.
in the business at that time. So I was like, I really need to be in control of myself, but I was suddenly out of control.
When we really sit and think about your journey, parts of it are so similar to some of the women who we've spoken to, where we are so used to being in control. And if you think about your repertoire, right? Number one, you have, like you said, you mentioned briefly, like your military trainer. So let me tell you that I can organize in my sleep, organize. I can organize my sleep, as a matter of fact. That's and then you also have the education, instructional background and the administrative educational background where you are teaching leaders. So when it comes to like having your things, nothing is gonna throw a curveball at you because you're always so good at being able to prepare for curveballs. And you also have the entrepreneurial background. Come on now, you got this under control. But the emotional toll that menopause and perimenopause takes, that's a curveball that a lot of women don't expect because we're so used to being able to control things. And even if you have, here or there with like a PMS, it might be like, oh, a few here and there, but it didn't really take over your life like how this curveball called menopause. Menopause have you going like, who are you?
Who is this person that I'm looking at her, but I don't know her? I like her. I like her, but I don't like her. I mean, like I love her, but I don't like her.
I love her, but I don't like her. And you said it was so interesting when you said that your son was looking at you like, what just happened?
I mean, it was like I was screaming in his face. And my kids, like, I'm not saying that I've never raised my voice with my kids, but I've never like lost my mind
Yeah.
where I have decided to elevate my voice and they know I've decided to elevate my voice. In this
Yeah.
instance, there was no decision.
It's the
That is happening. It's happening to both of us.
I was like, I'm just as surprised as you are. And that's the thing, it pulls that decision away from you, which is something that we don't even really think about, which is why we're so like it's such an important avenue for us to discuss for our ladies because we want to have that control, but it pulls that control away from us. And during times that it can be critical where you're having a conversation with your son, someone whom you love, and then you can also see how it can interrupt your business life. There's
Yeah.
so many times that can interrupt your business life. Have you noticed where you're, like I said, you're very structured woman, you're very, very, you function at a very, very high level because you run multiple businesses at the same time. And have you noticed any period of time when this just started to seep into this portion of Tiara where she's looking like, what just happened?
Yeah, I'm looking at you while you ask me that, like all of the time. All of the time. I think right now it is like everything feels like it's changing right now. I'm also a person who embraces change. So like
Mhm.
I'm not going with the flow. I'm like trying to figure out who I am in this season and like being okay with that a little bit. So a little
Mhm.
bit, not all the way yet, but I'm trying to be okay with that. So in my daily life, I get to kind of choose what my schedule looks like.
Mhm.
So I'm blessed in that way that I don't have people waiting on me in any of my businesses. So I'm not providing direct care or,
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily like on timelines that I don't manage.
Mhm.
So tired, I get to rest, but I have to rest more often. Now, I've
Yeah.
always been a person who needs to take a nap, but I'm a napper, but
Mhm.
now I need to take a nap. I need to lay down. And it doesn't need to be a long nap, like 20 minutes and I'm good, but I need it now. It is not a choice. It is a
Mhm.
requirement. Otherwise, my body's gonna shut down. I also think in this season, like I have these days where I'm like not focused, where I'm just kind of screwing around. I'm like, girl, you have many things blocked off on your calendar that you're supposed to be doing, but you can't get your mind together. And I've tried as best I can to give myself grace. And it's just like what I tell everybody else. I'm like, you can't push your body to do something that your body won't do. now you're
Mhm.
pushing yourself to death. And I'm not trying to die. So there's that. So I think now what I'm constantly tackling is what does it look like today? And then I'm being okay with that. I'm okay
Mm.
with tackling. I'm okay with that it's gonna be different. I'm okay that it's gonna be frustrating and a little outside of myself. Um,
Mhm.
created that like in my mind, that's the norm now until I figure out what works and what doesn't. I think
Absolutely.
that's where I am now. I started off kind of upset because I was like, for a little while, maybe like 3 months or so, I was walking around like, I'm mad at all the elders. Like I really had a chip on all of y'all. After I got over that, over my anger, then I started asking questions. And it didn't sound like anybody's story was similar enough that I could pick up patterns that would help me that I could apply. So I was like, well, you can't rely on everybody else's experience. You're gonna have to rely on your own. So I've just been studying myself. And
Mhm.
I will tell you a very interesting thing that has happened that is not bad is I've also created this. I've been really good at boundaries. Now I have boundaries in a way that I kind of like it. Like I'm just like I'm in my villain era. Like
Did
my
you just say villain?
yeah, yeah. Maybe like an anti-villain, like I'm a really good person. Don't mess with me. Like I'm just not tolerating nonsense anymore because
Mhm.
I have capacity for it. Like before, I could have all of these things to do, run my list, and then you come talking to me crazy about something, and I can like leave that where it was. But now like now I kind of want to cry after I talk to you. So now you interrupted my day. Like I can't move
Right.
on. So now
Mhm.
I'm establishing really hard boundaries that I kind of like. I like this version of me.
Oh,
A lot of
yes.
people said I was probably already this, but they didn't realize the emotional toll I allowed situations and people to have on me.
Mhm.
And I would oftentimes like, kind of, I feel your pain. I know what you're going through. I'm over empathizing with you. And so I'm
Mhm.
sticking with you a little longer. And now this version of me is like, Tiara, if you do that, you could die. Like that's what I tell myself because you don't have
Mhm.
capacity for that. Like your
Yeah.
body, like, you don't know if you're gonna have to take off your shirt or not in the next minute. You don't know if you're gonna be tired. You don't know if you're gonna be in pain. You don't know what's about to happen to you. So you don't have time to
Mhm.
overanalyze, overthink, and overabsorb everybody's feelings. You're gonna have to just deal with your own.
No, no, it's called putting yourself first.
Yeah.
And, that's something that as women, often we have such a challenge doing, right? Because it comes with this toll where we feel as if, like, okay, if you're doing that, then, you're being selfish, you're being mean. But coming through this portion of life, which is perimenopause, menopause, like you said, you don't know what it brings because there's something that we are often like know, like within perimenopause and menopause, where some of our protective hormones, we're starting to lose some of that. It starts to go down. That's our estrogen, our progesterone, and our even testosterone. But our estrogen is such an important, powerful. That woman, I mean, I know that males have estrogen too. Yes, we know, but this is a menopause podcast. So, our women, this cardioprotective estrogen, it's no joke. So we naturally have it to protect our heart. So when we start going through our perimenopause and menopause phase and we're losing that, we are now at a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. So you're right. I'm going to protect myself. So I'm not going to sit and, absorb additional stressors because I'm losing some of my cardioprotective. So yes, there are ways such as hormone replacement and so on in order to do that. But still, the number one killer of women is heart disease. One of our ways that we naturally protect our heart is our estrogen. And guess who is slowly going bye during this period is estrogen. So, yes, in addition to everything else, it's so important for us to, like you said, to stand our grounds and to stand those boundaries. So, hey, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm an empath myself. And I'm like, oh, I feel for you, but I need to feel for me
Why I got to worry about myself. What did she say? I have to put myself first. Is that
first.
I have to put me first, Lucia.
Yes, I had to put me first. Absolutely. So, was there any point in time when you became like concerned, like, oh my gosh, this is gonna destroy some of the things that I have worked so hard for? Like, I'm noticing this change in me, and it has the ability, if I don't get it under control, to destroy some of the things that I've worked on building.
Yeah. I don't know if I've had that moment of
Mhm,
fear. I think what I've had is like I had to embrace the changes. I think what I've
mhm,
kind of feared was losing myself, less like being out of control of things, less, having to deal with the external things. I was like, I don't want to lose myself. Um,
mhm,
and I want to allow myself to evolve, not like completely change. And
mhm.
so I think for me, like some of the fear, like when I started noticing changes in my body, I was like, because I don't have a formula for what menopause is, and I don't have examples for how to do this right. I was like, the best thing I can do.
This episode is brought to you by Truly Balanced Wellness Care. Most high level women are told that their lives are normal while they're struggling to lead through brain fog and fatigue. At Truly Balanced, we don't settle for not sick. We architect for peak performance. Whether you need a 30-minute hormone strategy session to audit your labs or are ready for our 3-month Jumpstart Intensive, we provide the physician led roadmap to get you back to your best. Visit the link in the show notes or go to www.trulybalancedwc.com to secure your spot. Now, back to the conversation.
Is linked to myself
Mhm.
and what I don't want to do. I'm constantly fighting this. I'm like, I don't want to I want to allow myself to evolve, but I don't want to change who I am at the core because I like me at the core.
Yes. Mhm.
And I don't like that I cry a little more than I used to. I'm a crier. Like I cry for children and injustice. That's probably about it. Now I cry for like almost anything. Like you
Joy, pain, everything.
all of it. It's important to me though because
Mhm.
I'm in a house full of men. And so for me, this new part of who I am and like the crying more often, it also is like giving permission to my kids have always had permission to cry, but I also think it's like, you know what? Like external emotion is all right. They're actually seeing me not have it all together, not keep
Mhm.
everything in order, not keep everything in line. And so there's a vulnerability I get to exist in with them that I
Mhm.
think is setting them up for success in their future. And so
Absolutely.
I don't want to lose who I am at the core. I want to kind of embrace, what's changing about me. But I do get scared. Like that is the part that I'm like, if I'm gonna be scared of anything, it's like, who will I be 10 years from now? And will I have lost myself because I've either been over like compensating or paying too close attention to this or decided to pour into others because I'm trying to find some kind of safety for myself. All the things.
Yeah.
I think that's what I fear the most is Tira, don't lose who you are, continue to be who you are, but evolve. Like I want to be a better version of myself.
I love it. That is but that's a real fear that you describe where we're going through this process. And especially when you mention like overcompensating for this, we overcompensate in so many different ways. Some of it is by helping others at the neglect of ourselves because we don't want to confront what's going on, right? So this change is happening in our body. Well, what's the best way for me to do it? Let me help somebody else versus really helping myself. Let me ignore some of these things. And then the infamous push through, which is such a big narrative for us women, right? So many times we do the push through method where we go ahead and I've seen this too in some of the women who like I take care of, or like a coach, where it's just like, oh, it's not a big deal. And then by the time we figure out that's not a big deal, they're like 8 different symptoms that we're dealing with. That's not a big deal. Like, like, so why? I just pushed through. It's like, how long have you been pushing through? Oh, not that long. And then what is not that long ends up being 4 years.
I love that.
Yeah, so no more of that. Really like tackling it head on, because as you mentioned, there is a fear because there's a changes going on within us. But who are we emerging to? There's this other version of ourselves. It's almost like a flower that's blossoming, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful, beautiful transition. Now, one of the things that I want to know, if you were to tell Tiara 10 years ago and you right now can go back to her, what would you tell her?
10 years ago, 10 years
Mhm.
ago, I would have told myself what I'm telling myself now, which is to take care of yourself. I was like, 10 years ago, I was taking care of everyone. I was in executive leadership. I was like coaching. So I had lots of leaders depending on me, not just at work, but also in my private practice. My
Mhm.
kids were younger. My husband and I, like, we've been married now for 18 years. So 10 years ago,
Mhm.
years in. So, it was just my life was so much about other people, so much about building things, so much about my job, everything around me, my business, all of it. And it
Mhm.
wasn't about me at all.
Mhm.
And so I would tell myself, take care of yourself. And that doesn't mean, I don't know, I can't tell you if I was eating well or if I was working out 10 years ago. I probably was.
Mhm.
But what I wasn't doing was staying attuned to how I was feeling, spending time with myself, trying to understand who I was. I wasn't setting as I've always been a boundary setter in terms of like personal safety. I haven't always been a boundary setter in terms of like my overall capacity. I was giving way too much of myself. And I would have told myself that then, because now when I'm trying to figure it out, it wouldn't be
Mhm.
so hard to figure it out.
Ah.
I would have already had a framework for that.
Mhm.
So thank God to my therapist, who I think now we've probably been in a 10-year relationship. But that was the first thing we worked on was like, who are you? What do you want? What can you actually control and what can't you? And what are you okay
Mhm.
with? Like, just let it be so you can make more space for yourself. I had really mastered that though 10 years ago. Today, I wouldn't be fearful that I would lose myself because I would be resolute. I would feel like, okay, I also would have told myself too to study more about my future. So that's my second thing about what the changes in my body 10 years
Mm.
from today or, from then.
Mhm.
And I wish I would have thought about menopause earlier. I wish I would have at least explored it. I'm a pretty curious person, but I never asked questions about this. And
Mhm.
it felt really far away to me, but it wasn't. And so I think one, I would tell myself, take care of yourself. But two, I would say, think about start to learn and prepare for the future for you, not the future of your finances and, your job and all of that, but your body, your mind, your space, who you are, who you want to be. I probably would have done that and told myself to focus.
That's really, really good and very insightful. You're right. A lot of times we put together this 10-year goal or 5 and 10 year, and the health portion of it is exercise, eat, but it's not understand the changes that will go through our bodies, especially as us women. 10 years from now, I'll be going through perimenopause or I'll be going through menopause. What will that look like? Let me keep that in mind. Let me keep some of these symptoms in mind. And you're right. That's not something that was really in the forefront of our minds at that point. So I like that thinking. That's a good Tiara, man. She would have been like set.
I would have been extra wrong, wise beyond my years.
I'm sorry. So the next question that I do have is, that I'm a physician and I'm taking care of our women in perimenopause, menopause. So what would and the thing is that my goal is to always be better than where I was and wherever I started because I wanted to make sure that I'm giving excellent care. So what would you like for me to know? You are a patient. You are someone who's going through this. You are someone who's talking to a healthcare provider. What is something that you would like me to know to make sure that the women who are going through this are getting like excellent care, or even something that you're like, I wish my doctor had asked this, or I wish they had mentioned this. What is it that you would like me to know to make sure that I make sure that I give excellent care to my patients who are like you?
Yeah. Tamara, this is what I would say. I don't actually, I think the what I would say is I don't actually have words most of the time for how
Mhm.
I'm feeling and words that describe the inconsistency in a way that helps really elevate what I'm going through. I think sometimes, like when I'm communicating with my doctor or doctors, it is hard sometimes because I'm in that room trying to think about how do I communicate to
Mhm.
someone? It changes over time. It feels like I can't give you like it's a 6 today, but it was a 10 like right before I walked in here.
Yes,
And
yes, I see it. I see it.
I wish I could. I think sometimes I wish doctors would ask me more thoughtful questions that help really unearth what's going on because I think sometimes there's a scale for pain. They ask
Mhm.
me my symptoms, they ask me how often, but in this season of my life, it's changing so much that sometimes it just feels out of whack. Like I don't know how to describe it, and it's not happening consistently enough for me to track it. So I can't tell you, I can't explain it to you in a way that I think really helps you help me. Insightful questions that really help provide language, get to the real words. And then I would also say, remember, because I'm a Black woman, I have to carry this. Remember that nobody really listens to us in terms of pain. And so it is often something that we carry into the room where we're like, how do I say this in a way that doesn't have you look at me like that's just what's supposed to happen? Like that's just normal
Mm,
because you're a Black woman, duh. I want not my pain to be just taken seriously. I want my pain to represent pain and not be normal. To like be like alarming, any amount of pain to be
mhm,
alarming.
mhm.
You. So I think that would be my two things. I think, I'm oftentimes unable to describe what's going on in words that are intelligible because the experience in and of itself is not intelligible.
No, good.
Walking in as a Black woman, I think I'm carrying in all of my past experiences where my pain wasn't taken seriously. And so now
Mhm.
I don't know how to communicate about my pain sometimes in a way so that it's taken seriously. So
Right.
I think some of that is questions and more insightful questions, which means, longer doctor visits and
Yeah. No,
trying to get
it's very correct. Yeah, absolutely correct. Which is, the reason why I truly balance wellness, why I have it in this concierge style, where to provide that time and that ability. And I thoroughly, from my heart, thank you for that answer. It's very honest because then now I go back and figure out like how can I find more insightful questions that can help to pull from my patients truly what's going on, because you're right, we're given a framework. So on a scale of 1 to 10, feeling right now, so okay, so you at a 9, is it a 9 in pain, or are you happy now? Okay, good. So it was a 6 but it's a 9, so you okay, so it's got worse. But that's how we really are structured to think.
right,
But this portion of our lives, in the, like I call this the art of medicine, where it doesn't just fit in this little like direct only scientific box. It incorporates more nuances. And what you have just said is like, try to get to that nuance, because it's hard for me to articulate it, but I'm still feeling it.
right,
I'm still feeling it, and I don't want to leave that room and still have felt it, even though my 7 minutes are up.
right.
So it really requires some more in-depth questions from both of us as physician, and the time required for you to be able to break some of that down as our patients. So we have to give you enough time so that we can break it down and that you can get that really underlying question answered. When you think about that, the for those who are in the coaching space, the why is number
Mhm,
7. So we need
mhm.
to get to number 7. Like,
Yep.
why? So why? And unfortunately, with the time space that we're given, we're only given enough to get to number 2.
You gotta at least, I mean, you want to get to 7, but like try to get to 5.
5 is enough. Yeah, but the space to do that, it's important, and that is a huge thing that's lacking, and that's why I've built my practice the way it is, so that I do have the time to sit and to get down deeper. So thank you so much. I'll
No.
definitely be one of the docs that's working on this, and any of our docs who are listening, hey, we ask our patients this because we want to be better. I definitely know Imma take it advice. Imma take heed to this. So, but hey, it's our pleasure. Alrighty, so we're at the end of our wonderful conversation, but I'm not letting you go without asking our really fun question of the day, which is, during the time of when you're going through it with this menopause journey, or you can just figure out, or is it where you are right now, what song or which lyrics really reflected how you're feeling?
So Cardi B up. Have you heard that song? It really her song is the song is really about what people used to say about her, and now look at her
Mhm.
now.
Yes.
For me, what the song embodies is this is like nothing is really going to stop me. Like I
Mhm.
don't care what you say I'm supposed to be experiencing in menopause or what menopause is supposed to be doing to me. I
Mhm.
don't care. Like it's up for me. I'm
Yeah.
never going to allow anything to bring me down. And that's it. That's it. I would also say to that, I think that song like really strikes me because I'm kind of gangster with it. I'm a little ratchet about it. I am. I'm just a little ratchet about it. I
Mhm.
just for me, I need you to know when it's up. Like it's
It's up.
and there's me now. Not this, not you, not anybody, not anything.
This is not a warning. This is just how it is.
This is the state of being.
This is just Tiara. And I'm just letting you know. So don't let the tears fool you. The tears is just me embracing, this portion of my life and recognizing that I love to express my emotions no matter which one, but it's still
It's still up.
lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, Tiara, for taking the time out of your busy schedule because I know you have a lot of stuff on your plate to come on to the Menopause Stories podcast with Dr. Tamara Beckford to share your story with those women who are going through it. Is there any way that they can connect with you if anyone wants to connect with you outside of here?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn at Tiara, Tiara Abu, Abu. And on Instagram, I tell people to follow me at She Can Work because if you message me there, somebody's going to give it to me. Um, Either on LinkedIn at Tiara Abu or Instagram at She Can Work.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all for tuning in. We thank you for this, and we definitely loved this conversation. And I hope you loved it as much as I did. I look forward to hearing from you guys. So, make sure you give us a 5-star review. Let me know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, a 5-star review. And we will see you guys next time on the Menopause Stories podcast with Dr. Tamara Beckford. Take care. Bye bye. You've been listening to the Menopause Stories podcast. If today's conversation hit home, don't let your story stay stuck in that midlife hijack. Head over to the show notes to book your strategy session and to join the movement of women redefining their power. I'm Dr. Tamara Beckford. Stay optimized, stay bold, and I'll catch you on the next episode.